Rock Cod Rick Maxa, and this week's special expert guest for fishing information, new techniques to catch more fish, and the most current scoop on what's happening in the water. Let's Talk Hookup is sponsored in part by Yamaha Outboards, official motor sponsor of Let's Talk Hookup. Royal Polaris, the world's finest long-range sports fisher. By Ford, the official truck of Let's Talk Hookup, and Shimano Rods and Reels. Fish with the best. Shimano. Get ready for the fastest 2 hours on radio with the hosts of Let's Talk Hookup, Pete Gray and Rock Cod Rick Maxa.
Good morning, anglers, and welcome to Let's Talk Hookup. Man, do we have a great show for you today. Captain Mike Pritchard of the Tribune is going to be on with us today, talking all kinds of fishing, talking fun, and man, those big bluefins are biting. There's kelp patty, yellowtail, and dorado, and yellowfin tuna down below. There's a lot to talk about today. You stay tuned. Going to be a great show. We'll look forward to hearing from Pete. He's up at Katmai Lodge with a group of Let's Talk Hookup listeners. Going to be a lot of fun. You stay tuned. You're listening to Southern California's sport fishing voice. This is Let's Talk Hookup on the mighty 1090.
The bluefin are abundant this year, but getting them to bite is another story. But if you're willing to chase them, there's an opportunity to land the catch of a lifetime. Now, getting the deal of a lifetime on a new Ford is much less effort because the gigantic summer sales event is going on now at your San Diego County Ford dealer. Choose from a great selection of cars, trucks, and SUVs and save big on interest charges with 0 APR long-term financing. On top of that, your Ford dealer will give you an additional bonus for your qualified trade. This special offer is available to anyone who gets approved through Ford Motor Credit. You'll also find great deals on new Ford Super Duty, Motor Trend Magazine's 2017 Truck of the Year. So why chase deals all over town when you can land the deal of a lifetime on the new Ford, car, truck, or SUV you've always wanted during the Ford Summer Sales Event? Stop by any San Diego County Ford dealer today. They'll be glad to hook you up. Learn more at buyfordnow.com. Pete here. I was fortunate enough to use the new Simrad NSS Evo 2 touchscreen chart plotter and sonar unit on my boat this summer and fall. And let me say, it's truly incredible. With an easy-to-use tablet-style interface that's fresh but familiar, the new Simrad NSS Evo 2 combines a multi-touch screen with push-to-select rotary dial for precision control and speedy response. As for marking schools of tuna, yellowtail, and more, it's the best. You run over a school, and there they are in full color and high definition. The new NSS Evo 2 built-in sonar technology, including chirp and structure scan, can't be beat. I recently added the Simrad AP24 autopilot to my system. I've had other autopilots before, but I can tell you this one is simple, sensitive, and accurate. It integrates with my Simrad NSS Evo 2. I set a waypoint, touch the screen, and the boat steers to that spot. There's a lot more to the new Simrad NSS Evo 2 system and AP24 autopilot I'd like to tell you, but best just go to your local Simrad dealer or see simrad-yachting.com for more details.
Bluefin tuna are here, and now is the time to take advantage of this amazing bite. The hot jig last year and this season is the Shimano Butterfly Flat Fall Jig. It's a totally new concept of butterfly jigging, but deadly effective. Best part, it's very simple to fish the Shimano Flat Fall. Drop the jig down to where the fish are holding, then crank it up 30 feet and then free spool. Or cast the jig and let it fall while in free spool. Wait for the bite, then put it in gear and wind. It's that easy. The Shimano Flat Fall is a center balanced jig and falls with a wobbling action in a horizontal position, making it irresistible to big bluefin tuna. Hundreds of big fish have been caught on the Flat Fall, ranging in size from the 130 gram to the 250 gram. They're back in stock now at your local Shimano dealer. So get yours now and go catch a fish of a lifetime on the Shimano Butterfly Flat Fall Jig. See your local dealer or check Shimano.com for all the details.
Welcome back to Let's Talk Hookup on the mighty 1090. As we said, Pete Gray not going to be joining us today. He is up in Alaska at the start of their Katmai adventure. They should be arriving to the beautiful lodge at Katmai here this morning. I know they left San Diego yesterday and hopefully had a very smooth trip. We're looking forward to hearing from him later in the show as they get things rolling. Mike Pritchard from the Tribute, is going to be joining us today. Running just a couple minutes behind, but Mike will be here any minute. So we'll look forward to talking to him about some great fishing that's going on. And, boy, in the meantime, looking forward to hearing from you this morning. Going to be a great show, great times, and lots to talk about. we always say the same thing. It's always cool to get a guy like Mike in here who's super busy this time of year, middle of July, fishing season rolling on. It's cool to get to spend a couple hours with us. So Tribute, such a great boat, running out of C4 sport fishing in the middle of a great schedule right now. And it's been a very interesting week this week, as I'm sure a lot of you have followed. And if you subscribe to our email blast, I know Pete and Bill Varney are doing a great job pushing all the information out. But it's been a very interesting week, especially for the private boaters. I would say, you know, we'll hear more about it from Mark Wisher's report and things later in the show, but some of the best big fish fishing we've had in quite some time was seen this week with guys that are trolling kites and yummy flyers, and once you get that specialized rigging and tackle and everything down, there was some of the best biting fish that we've seen this season on those giant trophy class fish. But, you know, tough fishing on the smaller ones. That local smaller grade fish that we're used to catching is still being a little bit difficult to get to go. But this week we did see some real highlights as far as our, you know, standard summertime fishing goes. Kelp patty fishing way down below the beach at 100 miles or so. There was some really good local kelp patty fishing, good yellowtail. Starting to see that Dorado come through, a little bit of yellowfin tuna down there. And then our boats that are on the longer trips, 5 days and the such, are starting to see good numbers of yellowfin tuna, that kind of summertime average size fish that we're used to catching. Definitely not the 5-pound footballs and not these 150-pound tankers like we're catching at home, but that standard 15 to 20 to 25-pound tuna. So hopefully that fish continues to filter our way and provides us with a fun summer season. But very interesting as far as seeing that big fish goes. I know at home here that fish finally decided to get on the bite a little bit, and it's still difficult, and it's giant ones. I mean, you don't catch 100 a day, but we definitely saw some very increased numbers of fish biting those yummy flyers. I know our boat, we had a couple of trips this week. My boat partner Neil fished a couple of days and saw some very good fishing. You know, we had a 3-fish day and a 4-fish day, so exciting stuff, and some 200-pounders. So we're going to talk about that later in the show. We're going to talk a lot about local fishing today as well, and so lucky to have a guy like Mike in here this morning. So if you want to call, give us a call this morning, have your questions answered. There's 2 ways that you can be a part of Let's Talk Hookup, and first is with our local line. The phone number is 858 area code 457-1090. Again, 858-457-1090. That's a local number. Or you can reach us toll-free, and our toll-free number is 877-792-1090. Again, 877-792-1090. That's a local number. Not only are we going to be talking all kinds of fishing today, we're going to be talking tackle, we're going to be talking rigging, all kinds of that great fishing information going on. We are also going to be giving away a great prize, and one lucky caller is going to get to go fishing aboard the Tribute out of C4 Sport Fishing, and we really appreciate Mike for allowing one of our listeners to get to go fishing with him this year, so that's going to be a lot of fun. One lucky caller going to get an opportunity to go on that great boat. So again, if you want to get your shot in here, talk some fishing with us this morning, 858-457-1090. That's the local number, or toll-free 877-792-1090. And again, while we're waiting for Mike to get here, got a couple of cool announcements, starting with those great CCA calendar drawings. Everybody that's picked up Bill Varney's awesome 2017 sport fishing calendar, which I must say, if you have that calendar, for sure, this is the best month of the year. Clearly, the best photo in the new sport fishing calendar is got to be the month of July. But that's just a joke there, because that's one of my photos. Anyways, so as you know, on the back of the calendar, there's a little section for CCA, the Coastal Conservation Association for California. There's a little red box, and there's a number, and basically all of those numbers are a drawing, and a little bit of money goes to CCA for all of those, and the winner of this week's drawing is going to win a killer sabiki rod and a set of sabiki bait catchers from Promar and Ahi USA. So very cool to that. So again, if you've got your sport fishing calendar, turn it over to the back, look for the CCA little red box, and the winning number this week is 2626. So very cool. Again, 2626. If that was your winning calendar, you got yourself a brand new sabiki rod and sabiki bait catchers from Promar and Ahi. And basically, you'll just need to contact CCA of California by email or through Facebook to claim your prize. It's super easy to find. There's directions on the back of the calendar, and it's very easy to find. If you jump on Facebook, you can just spell out the words Coastal Conservation Association of California, and you'll be able to find it. Super easy, super fun. And again, congratulations to the winner. And what a cool way to raise some money for CCA with those great calendars. And with that, sliding on into the spot. We got Captain Mike Pritchard of the Tribute in the studio this morning. Mike, super stoked to have you join us. Good morning.
Hey, good morning, gang.
Yeah, didn't miss much. All good, man.
No, that's cool.
I can tell you put some throttle on the freeway this morning. Well, we're certainly stoked to have you in here.
Maybe just a little bit.
Stoked to have you in here this morning, and certainly some interesting start to the season. You know, I kind of mentioned a little bit here that it's been a different one, and strange seeing just the most giant trophy class fish that's difficult to catch, and maybe not as much of the filler as we're used to having, but now some opportunities down below. What's things like? What's like life in the world of the sport boat Tribute operator right now?
You know, and this is something I've brought up a few times lately. If you would have told any one of us 20 years ago that we're going to be trolling around a rubber flying fish from a kite for one fish
on your boat
for a chance of one big fish, we all would have told you. Anybody would have said you're crazy. Never would happen. We're not going to do it. We're not going to. But, I mean, that's kind of what it's become. Thankfully, there is starting to be some filler fish coming in. Starting to see more Dorado on the count. Some pretty good yellowtail numbers. Some of the yellowtail are really nice. But same kind of deal on our Wicked Tuna Frinzarello trip that we spent a fair amount of time. And it was funny because we had Paul Hebert on the boat. And I'm sure he's not... Yeah, he's probably a little prone to using some of those rubber flying fish on the East Coast, but same kind of deal. We got bit on one of those things. Had him standing up on the upper deck holding the kite rod, and he just looked back and he goes, "This is crazy."
It really is.
And I said, "Yeah, it is." But we ended up getting bit. We ended up losing that fish. But what just a different day and age of fishing.
Right?
I mean, holy smokes! Like I said, if you would have told anybody years ago that this was going to be a possibility on an overnight trip or even a 3/4 day trip, they would have said you're nuts. Catching a 200 or 300 pound tuna is just not something you would ever see on anything shy of a 15 day, maybe a 10 day.
It's crazy to think that, and we've said it week after week after week, but you can't stop saying it because it's the truth. A guy that walks on the Tribute tonight or tomorrow or the next day, going on as short as an overnight trip, 100% has an opportunity at catching a cow. Does it happen every time? No. Does it happen to every person? No. But for sure, if you step on that boat tonight, you absolutely have a shot at it. And when has that been a thing before these last couple of years?
Well, and you know what's funny is a few years ago when we first started doing this, we thought it was a fad. You know, seeing this giant bluefin around, giant for the West Coast, this really big bluefin around, and okay, you know, I've spent a lot of time long-range fishing. Some of the other overnight guys have. So it's really nothing new as far as trolling a yummy flyer around.
Technique you've done before.
Yes, it's something that we've done a lot of time a fair amount of time at the hurricane bank, dragging those things around for bigger yellowfin. But it's, I mean, we thought it was a fad. Okay, so you get the kite rod out, you start dragging this thing around. But I mean, a lot of guys that are just getting into this, just private boaters as well. I mean, just a crazy new type of fishing to get into. And you know, a few years ago we thought it was just going to be a kind of one-time deal. But this is the third year that stuff's been around. There's private boaters going out, guy hopping in his Parker, buys a kite, buys a yummy flyer, goes out and catches a 280-pound bluefin. I mean, what?
Crazy.
It is. It's very, very crazy, and it's really cool. I mean, you see guys coming on the way back in, guys going by, and like their little private boats, and there's a giant tail sticking out of the back of the boat.
That's so cool. Well, hey, speaking of cool, we're going to head up north real quick. We're going to find out what's biting out there and talk to our great buddy Jeff, who's calling us all the way up in Katmai, wanting to talk about some great fishing. And, boy, I know that you got our whole gang coming up here this week. Good morning, Jeff.
Hey, good morning, buddy. How you doing?
Doing fantastic. I know Pete was super excited when I saw him yesterday heading your direction, and anxious to hear what those guys might be getting themselves into this week. Good morning.
Good morning. Yeah, man, we got some fishing crazy up here right now. This king run we've got going right now is probably the best I've seen in 20 years. Double-digit days. You know, we've got some big kings in the river right now. You know, I landed on a hair over 50 inches this week. You know, we've got a lot of trout. They're kind of they're just off the the kind of minnow feed. They're eating mice on the surface like crazy right now. It's really a good time. Our chums just showed up. Y'all's group and Pete, they're gonna have another great one. There's no question there. You know, we've got a lot of crazy things going on around here, around the lodge, a lot of new things, and you know, it's a great time to be here. There's tons of fish in our river right now. I mean, you're seeing wakes swim by you when you're anchored up fishing a hole. You're seeing wakes of fish just streaming through. I mean, it's crazy.
God, man, that sounds so cool, dude. Just the thought of seeing that volume and that size of fish come rolling by while you're anchored up is just, I can't get over it. And boy, I know it's been so exciting hearing you talk about that style of fishing and the size of fish and the amount of opportunity you guys have up there it's just unparalleled.
You know, we're pretty fortunate up here. We're one of the few rivers that get all the salmon species, all 5 species of Pacific salmon, and you know, we got trout and grayling, and you know, we got Stolly Varden in the river now, and you know, we're pretty fortunate up here. It's a great place for everybody, from kids and families to the hardcore angler, and you know, it's a unique place just because of what we do have to offer. You know, with our lodging being, you know, everything from your own room, if you're a single person, all the way to, you know, a family of 8 could have their own cabins. So we're doing a lot of good things up here, and I'm pretty excited about it.
That's awesome, buddy. Well, Jeff, appreciate a great report. We're certainly looking forward to hearing from Pete and the entire gang as they get up and start fishing with you and having a great time. Well, if somebody wants to join you, is there still an opportunity to make it up to Katmai and get in on this year's great abundance of fish?
Yeah, you know, Rick, we've got a king run right now, like I told you earlier, that I haven't seen in a long, long time. And I was looking at our calendar, and we've got our last week of July. We've got some openings, and our king season closes here on the 1st of August. So if there's anybody out there that wants to get in on some amazing king fishing, you know, we have room for them. And then we have August dates as well, you know, and if that's something people are interested in, they can give us a shout on our 800 number at 1-800-330-0326, or simply go to katmai.com and check it out. That's probably the best way, you know, and that way you can see what we got going. We got up-to-date pictures on it, and on Facebook as well, you know. I mean, we're trying to keep that updated, keep all our friends and family members all posted on what we got going up there.
Awesome. Well, great job, buddy. Great report. Appreciate that, and take care of Pete and our boys up there. Have a great time. We'll really look forward to hearing next week's report.
Thanks, Rick. And hey, now next year's your turn, right?
You better believe you work on him for me. I need somebody else to twist his arm.
I'm hard at it for you, buddy. I'll talk to you soon.
All right, Jeff. Appreciate the phone call very much. Thanks a lot for that. And, again, certainly great time to call. So much good info to talk about. We're talking tribute. We're talking fishing. We're talking local fishing. All that great stuff today. Again, if you want to be a part of the show, 858 area code 457-1090. That's our local number. Or, again, toll free. 877-792-1090. Great opportunity, great chance for you to talk to Captain Mike Pritchard of the Tribune. And when we come back, we're going to be taking those phone calls. Lots of great information coming your way. You stay tuned. You're listening to Southern California's sport fishing voice. This is Let's Talk Hookup on the Mighty 1090.
This is Rosie from Cedros Sport Fishing, formerly Cedros Adventures. We have made a good thing even better at Cedros Island. Cedros Sport Fishing lets you leave home in the morning and hang out at our luxury lodge in the afternoon. Remember, Cedros is the yellowtail and calico bass capital of the world. Stay in Cedros Sport Fishing's own private waterfront lodge and experience first-class meals and service. Our new fish processing facility will custom cut and pack your catch for your flight home. Hey, what are you waiting for? Call me at 619-772-7570 or check CedrosSportFishing.com for availability and more information. Book soon. Trips are going fast.
Hey, it's time to talk about great gear from Shimano and all this bluefin fishing going on right now, and this local, as Mike was kind of talking about, this local kelp patty fishing. It is your opportunity to buy some of the best gear available, and that's new from Shimano. A fantastic reel got introduced at this new ICAST show, and that's the Torium HG14. Now, Torium went through a giant change 2 years ago, and we saw the 16, the 20, and the 30. Newly rounded side plates, better gearing, better drag, smaller, fits in your hand, all these great features that we saw from Trinidad in their more expensive reel, but in a package that we could all afford. This year at ICAST, they introduced the 14 to that lineup, a perfect 20, 25-pound live bait reel, perfect for your kelp patty, yellowtail, and dorado. It's going to be easy on the pocketbook, very, very comfortable fishing reel. All of the attributes of a more expensive piece of tackle in a very, very easy-to-afford reel. Fantastic. It's the brand-new Shimano Torium 14 HG, just introduced at ICAST. Look for it coming to you soon at your local tackle stores, or for more information, check out Shimano.com.
Here's John Ireland for Rancho Leonero.
Rancho Leonero was awarded the Certificate of Excellence from TripAdvisor for 4 straight years. Especially interesting, most hotels are just hotels, and most people stay in the hotel and go do their activities elsewhere. Rancho Leonero, of course, provides fishing, diving, all activities, all meals, your whole vacation. So the fact that we're so highly rated, we're very proud of it. From picking you up at the airport to dropping you off, literally everything is turnkey from there. We make it as easy as we can for you at the ranch. From your meals to whether you're going to go fishing or diving or just hang out by the pool. When you're coming to Rancho Leonero, you are coming to John Ireland's home. I guarantee the best fishing vacation experience in all of Baja. That's unique. There's nowhere that I could think of to get the same experience that you get at Rancho Leonero. Our new reservation phone number is 800-646-2252, 646-BAJA, and RanchoLeonero.com. It's really unique. It is. We're very proud of it.
There's a new kid in town, and they are creating near miracles on boats all over the Southland. It's Blue Seas Fabrication, the West Coast's first and only certified sea deck fabricator and installer. Install sea deck EVA from non-skid decking materials on your boat, sport fisher, or yacht, and your boating experience is enhanced and improved. Why? Well, first, sea deck from Blue Seas Fabrication enriches the look of any boat, old or new. Next, the SeaDeck non-skid decking material adds comfort, convenience, safety, and value. The possibilities are endless. Let the experts from Blue Seas Fabrication show you how SeaDeck will make your life easier and better on every trip. Their professional staff will custom fit your deck, bridge, and interior with the stylish, non-absorbent, stain-resistant, and easy-to-clean material in multiple textures, designs, and colors. SeaDeck offers comfort and anti-fatigue properties for those long days of fishing. It can also be used on kayaks, boat trailers, and more. See for yourself. Check BlueSeasFabrication.com to see how SeaDeck can transform your watercraft and truly create a wow factor for the next time you head out. Call them at 858-232-4188 for more information and a free quote. Check BlueSeasFabrication.com and enhance your fishing experience.
Welcome back to Let's Talk Hookup on the Mighty 1090 again. If you want an opportunity to talk to the man, Captain Mike Pritchard of the Tribute out of C4 Sport Fishing, 858 area code 457-1090 or toll free 877-792-1090. Not only will we be talking fishing and answer your questions today, again, Mike, so generous, donated a trip. Opportunity for somebody to get to go fishing aboard the Tribute later this year. You're going to get in on that great kelp patty fishing. You'll get in on that big bluefin fishing. So a great opportunity. Again, 877-792-1090. And again, kind of been, like you said, Mike, we were talking there before we jumped up and started talking Alaska. Very interesting year seeing that big fish go around. And I thought it was very cool that you made note of it, that this is nothing new to what you guys are doing. I know, you spent a lot of time in the Excel amongst a lot of other boats, fishing long range, and this is something that's been in your background for a long time. But to get to see this technique being put down, it's very cool just to watch the whole operation. Something you're used to seeing on a 16-day, but not going on an overnight on the Tribute. Watching just the gear and the kites and the rigging and how it's fished and all the little things that go along with it. It's cool just to watch the show, let alone watching a 200-pounder blow up on a rubber flying fish.
Yeah, you know what? It's funny because you can sit there and watch that stupid thing all day. I mean, it is. I mean, you could sit there and watch it skip and try to get it dialed in. I think we have a huge advantage. There's pros and cons to this. The private boaters definitely have the ability to go out and drag that thing around all day for one fish for a couple of guys.
Right.
You get one of those things that's a trophy. Hey, that's what a lot of guys are doing. One thing we do have on these bigger boats, though, is you can see it. One of my deckhands, Shane, spent several days out trying to catch one. I guess they hooked 3, and one of the problems with those fish, even on the best tackle, it's still 50-50.
Oh, no doubt.
Those things, giant teeth, they're big fish. We fish them in deep water. It's not like fishing them on the East Coast where they can't sink out. A lot of the areas we're fishing, if that fish wants to go down 600, 700, 800 feet, I mean, he's got the ability. So trying to land them, 130-pound Spectra, 150-pound mainline, 300-pound leader doesn't mean that you're going to get the fish. The one we hooked on our Wicked Tuna trip chewed through a 300-pound leader. I mean, the possibilities of landing one of these things are like I said, I think it's about 50-50.
Yeah.
But one nice thing about being able to see that thing is being elevated like that, being able to see it from the boat. You can sit there and watch it. But hooking them on the smaller boats, I from what my deckhand said, he goes, man, you can't see it. You're sitting there with binoculars. You're trying to look at it. If you have any kind of a swell, you can't see over the swell. But, man, those private boaters, the last, 5 years, what a time to own a small boat.
Crazy. Between
local wahoo, big yellowfin close to home, Dorado, now giant bluefin. I mean, there's a really good chance this stuff's not going anywhere.
I'm with you, man. I mean, it just seems like it's parked, and this is just kind of what we're doing. And, I never say never, because things go away just as fast as they come. And I think the most important part is it's here now, and if you want to get your shot, go get one. But I'm with you, man. It's pretty cool.
That's it. We have, you look at the passenger loads right now, and they're very, very slim. My boat left last night, I think, with 12 people on a Soft Steel Ultra sponsored 2-day trip.
12.
Great time to be a passenger, not necessarily the best time to be a boat owner. But fishing, we had a 2-day trip last week. We had limits of yellowtail for our light charter group for 2 days. We had Dorado, we had bluefin and yellowfin. I mean, it was really, really good fishing.
That's awesome.
Some other really good counts were coming in. I mean, local fishing is starting to really pick up. We have a 976 sponsored trip that leaves tomorrow night. And then after that, we do have trips available throughout the week. And Wednesday night and I think Thursday night's a definite go. We already have enough people to go on that. But not only do you have a chance of catching one of these giant bluefin, but there's also some yellowtail. There's some Dorado starting to show up. There's some more yellowfin. The water has warmed up significantly. This cold water year, I don't know if I'd call it a cold water year. That's what it was supposed to be, but you're already seeing water in the low 70s around the our local banks. So it's definitely a good time to get on a boat, whether it's going to be a yellowtail, yellowfin, and giant bluefin. And I gotta say, bring your flat falls. What a crazy jig that catches absolutely everything. About a week and a half ago, I had a trip. We were out fishing San Clemente Island. The New Loan had a 200, I think it ended up going 223-pound bluefin caught on a flat fall. The next day, I know there was a swordfish caught on a flat fall on the Old Glory. And then the Grande caught an Opa on a flat fall. I was like, forget the bait.
Yeah, right.
Forget the bait. We're just going to start handing out flat falls to everybody that comes on the boat.
That's cool.
Not only the yummy flyer, but, man, if you're going on a trip, I'm sure they catch sea bass and everything else. I haven't used one yet for sea bass, but just the diversity of fish and that jig, it's really seems to cover all bases.
That's cool. Now, if a guy's coming fishing with you, going on an overnight trip, going on a day-and-a-half trip, wanting to fish a flat fall, what's the best way to get that thing set up? I mean, there's you hear people, talk, you got to change the hooks, you got to do this, you got to do that. Do you feel that that's necessary? Do you, should you always put a leader on it? Should you do anything different in your world? If Mike's pulling that thing out of his tackle box, tying it onto your personal rod, what do you do?
You know what, there's some pretty good, and I don't know if Shimano started putting different hooks on them, but there is replacement hooks. If you're going to fish for bluefin, there's some pretty good replacement hooks out there. And one of the biggest problems we've seen over the last few years with the flat falls is the fish eat them. I mean, they eat them.
Yes.
You see them either all the way down in the stomach, you see them back, 6-7 inches back in the throat. So a heavier leader is mandatory. Okay. I mean, you still see them getting chewed off on 100-pound. I would rig some of them up, depending on the size of the fish you're fishing. Either 100-pound fluoro, 150-pound fluoro. I mean, you have to. I don't know how many fish, especially early in the morning, in the dark, in the gray. You see a guy get bit, and all of a sudden it's gone. You ask him what he was using, and it's I had a flat fall on there rigged up on 60-pound. Straight 60 sounds heavy, but those things have giant teeth, and they love to shake their head. So, I mean, it doesn't take much for them to chew through it. And I don't think it's just the flat fall, but the technology in reels also definitely helps. You have a small reel that can hold a ton of line, lots of drag, And the ability to get bit on the sink with a smaller reel like that, I think is huge. So it's not just, it's not like you're dropping a 30 wide or something down and the thing's barely sinking. You have these small modern reels that hold a bunch of line, and most of them get bit on the sink. So as that jig's sinking, that thing eats it. A lot of times you see those big fish, and that thing's back in its throat. So make sure you have a leader,
You tie it, you crimp it, you attach to the leader and put a swivel up above. What do you like to connect the line?
If you're going to, really, you should have it before you get on the boat. Go through and set up some of them. I would have some rigged up anywhere from 100-pound on up to 200-pound leaders, and make sure if you're crimping them that you're savvy with the crimp. I have to say, I melt the end of every crimp. And Carl Burns, years ago, who used to...
Burns Outfitters.
Yeah, he used to take care of the soft still side of things. I remember there was a trip we were at Roca Partida on the Excel, and he goes, hey, man, take a look at this leader. And I looked at it. I go, the leader looks great. And he goes, take a look at the crimp. The guy had just caught 200-pound tuna on it. He didn't crimp it.
He forgot to crimp it.
But he melted the end. And that held.
Explain that when you say melt the end for somebody that's not familiar what that means.
When you're going to crimp, you slide your crimp on, you slide your hook on, whatever end of it you're doing. When you slide the monofilament or the fluorocarbon through the crimp, you take a lighter, you heat up the end of it, and just melt it just enough to where it starts to mushroom. That little ball of monofilament or fluoro, and then you pull it tight, pull it up against the crimp. That, at least with Carl in this circumstance, was enough to land both fish without ever actually crimping the crimp on it.
So you've got this little crimp that's like the little double barrel thing. The line goes through one end of it, goes through your hook, and then comes back out the other side. When you melt that line that's coming out the other side, you alter it. Like you said, a mushroom. That's a perfect example. Now it's too large to fit back through itself.
Yeah, and it can't pull through.
And again, that's not how you want to rig it to catch it. You certainly want to make an appropriate crimp, but moral of the story is just doing that alone, he put 200-pounders on the boat.
Yeah, I've done a lot of crimping over the last 20 years with long-range fishing and everything else, but if I don't have a lighter handy and if I'm not melting the end of that line, I've never had a crimp fail, but it's just that peace of mind knowing that
Absolutely.
That glob at the end can't pull through there.
That's cool. That's very cool. So again, crimp it, little leader. How long of a piece of, like you said, 100 to 200 pound? How long of a piece do you like on that flat fall?
You know what? I would do 3 feet just to play it safe. I mean, a 300-pound bluefin is a big fish, and there's a lot of room between his mouth and the back of his stomach, if that's the way it goes. And it's not just that. The fish rolls. It can get stuck on the gill plate. It's stuck on the pec fin. Not enough of it. You don't want to fish a long enough leader to where you can't wind the fish up close enough to the boat. I know it sounds odd, but you see it, guys rig up trolling gear sometimes, and they have a 10-foot leader. We don't hand line the fish, and all of a sudden, you see a guy winding his fish up, and all of a sudden the swivel's stuck at the tip of the rod, and the fish is still 3 feet under the surface. You don't want to do that. But you do want to make sure it's long enough to where any part of the fish rolling, teeth, whatever, I'd say 3 foot's about adequate.
That's a good call. Very cool. Great information there. Again, lots of that coming up if you want to get your opportunity. 858-457-1090 or 877-792-1090. We're going to find out what's biting out there right now. It's time to go to the Cast Man. Richard Castaneda from Cast Tour. We've got our Baja and Mainland Catch Report. Good morning, Cast Man.
Boy, good morning, Ricky. Good show. I'm thinking about that gummy flyer. Is that something we need to use with a kite, or can we just troll it just like with a regular trolling rod?
What do you think, Mike?
I think you can. I haven't seen one of these big bluefin caught that way. I know that there's a thing, especially on the East Coast and down south, they use a green stick. But something, if you can get the rod tip up high or the line up high enough, it does skip behind the boat pretty darn good without a kite.
Cool.
I think one of the big deals, Cass, the reason it gets bit so good with the kite, one, obviously the kite being up above, it allows the bait, exactly like Mike's saying, to skip. It looks like it's flying more than just tumbling. But the other thing that the kite allows you to do is get the lure way away from the boat. And that's one of the big things with those big bluefin. They're skittish and line shy and tough to hook, and it's the number of bites that you get behind the boat in the prop wash compared to being way away from the boat it's a staggering difference. So Could you get bit on the rod tip? Never say never. You put that thing in front of a hungry one, I'm sure they'd probably bite it. But your odds of getting one not on the kite, I think, go down by a drastic number.
Okay. No, I'm heading for Petite, Panama on Wednesday, so I was thinking, just wondered about getting one of those and just trying it out. So I still may do it, and who knows? Maybe I'll be able to give you a report on how it worked or not.
Tell us about a Panama cow.
Yeah, exactly. Anyway, we'll get on with the fish report. Down at Zihuatanejo, 5 to 12 miles out from the harbor, pretty good bite on sails. Doing real well there. A few blue marlin mixed in, and a few dorado, and a few small tuna. Getting up to the San Jose del Cabo area and the Cabo boats and the East Cape boats, they're still working that area there from between Frailes and Punta Gordo and up to the Inner Gordo Bank. Doing real well there. Got some reports of some big yellowtail being hooked there at the Inner Gordo. Some fish they said up to about 60 pounds, which is pretty huge for yellowtail, especially this time of the year. Usually you don't find them, but evidently there's some nice big yellows there. Of course, the tuna is still working around the Iman and the San Luis banks there around Vinarama. Anywhere from 12 to 15 pound school tuna up to 50 to 80 yellowfin tuna. So some good action there. Also that red snapper, the Huachinango, the ones that you'll find in the restaurants throughout southern Baja. Really good bite there. Most of them being caught on the yo-yo. So that's pretty good action there. And the striped marlin, they're seeing a lot of stripers from the East Cape all the way around up into the Pacific side of the tip of Baja there. And they're just not hungry. I guess there's just plenty of bait that they're feeding on. But, once that bait diminishes, look for some really good counts of striped marlin to be caught. Also, they're starting to pick up a few blue marlin. We're getting into that time the blue marlin really start coming in there in late July and August and all the way through September, October. So look for that to start happening there. But like I say, there's a lot of frustrated marlin fishermen just can't get those striped marlin to bite. But anyway, Ricky, that's a report for this week. I'm leaving for Petite, Panama with a group of Let's Talk Hookup listeners on Wednesday. We'll be there for a week. We've scheduled to fish 4 days out in Petite, and I'll have a fresh report with you for you when I get back. So it won't be around next weekend, but the following weekend I'll let you know how that trip went. And
nice.
Also, I have one spot for one angler available on our 2018 Pesca Panama trip. Anybody wants to join us on that can give me a call. Also, we've just announced the dates there for our Christmas Island trip. Let's Talk Hookup. Next June, and they'll be joining you and I on that trip, Ricky. And we had a few guys from this year's trip already re-up. They really enjoyed the trip. First time they'd ever gone, and they're going back. But,
such a cool spot.
It really is. It really is. So give me a call at Cast Tours at 800-593-6510. Check us out on the web at www.casttours.com, and I'll talk to you guys in 2 weeks.
Cass, great report. Appreciate that. Thanks for always taking all the time to dial in all the information up and down the Baja and mainland, and have a blast in Petite, man. I love that spot, and I can't wait to go back with you. Have a great time, and we'll talk to you in 2 weeks, Cass, man.
Thanks, Ricky.
All right.
Talk to you then.
Appreciate the report. Again, that report today sponsored in part by Scorpion Sport Fishing, featuring two of the best boats in the East Cape, a 35-foot Cabo Yachts, the El Regalo, and the 26-foot twin outboard center console, the Scorpion. They're also equipped to do beach fishing. The professionals at Scorpion Sport Fishing are equipped and determined to make your fishing dreams come true. Check ScorpionSportFishing.com for the finest charters in the East Cape. Phones are packed up. Everybody's excited to talk to Mike. Why don't we start it off this morning with Sam, who's calling us from Irvine. Good morning, Sam. Thanks for getting us started here on Let's Talk Hookup.
Good morning. All the talk about the bluefin's a good thing. Hey, my question is, when you're trolling the yummy flyer, what does the rest of the fishermen fish with the flat balls, or is it a trolling situation? How does that work?
It's something really interesting when you're trying to fish the yummy flyer with 32 people. We're still fishing. We're still fishing. We're still looking for schools of fish. We're still looking for sonar schools, kelp patties. We're still trolling. So you might have 5 trolling rods out, this yummy flyer out. The way it's been lately, you almost have to have the yummy flyer out. We don't necessarily troll it all the time, But there's what we'll usually do if there's a full group of guys on the boat, we'll draw a number out of the hat if it gets bit. I mean, that seems to be the best way to go about it. But we're still looking for spots of fish. We're still looking for kelp patties. And you want to see crew members scramble. Get a jig strike on one of the trolling rods while you have 5 trolling rods out, the Yummy flyer out, and everything else. I mean, there's a lot of work that's involved with this.
Right.
Very, very savvy crews, extremely handy. But it's one of those things. It's kind of out. I mean, you don't even necessarily notice it from a passenger standpoint. It has to be out. You have the chance of hooking one of those giant bluefin on it. And if we get bit on it, what we do is draw a number out of a hat. It could be any one of whoever it goes to. But for the most part, that it doesn't really interfere with our fishing.
So it's just like a bonus trophy opportunity while you're fishing a normal standard day on the boat.
Yes, yeah. And I mean, really, sometimes you troll by a kelp patty, you hook one of those small yellowtail on it, all of a sudden, the amount of work that it takes to get that kite in and everything else, it doesn't interfere with the fishing at all, but there is a lot of work that goes into it.
It's a lot of extra work, but the opportunity is there, like you say, for a lifetime trophy.
Yeah, and what we've done, I think one of the last trips we got one of those nicer bluefin on the kite. It was a light group of people. I think we only had 13 guys, and we split it. There's 3 different guys that took turns pulling on the fish. And everybody got a chance to take a chunk of that thing home, which is downright awesome. Yeah. You have to do it. The luck of the draw kind of deal is, it's there, but like I said, you can't drive around going spot to spot without having that thing out. In most cases, just because the chance of hooking one of those things is, it's real.
That answer your question for you, Sam?
It does. Thank you.
You got it, buddy. Appreciate the phone call very much. Hey, when we come back, we got a lot more Let's Talk Hookup coming your way. More of your phone calls, more catch reports, more great information. You stay tuned. It's Let's Talk Hookup on the Mighty 1090.
Call the office. Tell them I'm sick.
Rock Cod Rick here for West Coast Marine and Parker Boats. You see them all over Southern California waters. Parker Boats at the launch ramp, the offshore islands. You wake up in the morning on an overnight trip, and there they are. Parker Boats of all size fishing in the same area as the sporties. There's a good reason for it: fishability and seaworthiness. Of all the boats out there, my boat partner and I chose to get a brand new 25 Parker center console from Kevin Kelly and the gang at West Coast Marine, and I could not be happier. Wow, what a fishing machine. Parker Marine builds a heavy-duty, industrial-strength boat, probably overbuilt, but that's why so many 4- and 6-pack charters choose to operate Parkers. We thank the guys at Pinnacle Sport Fishing, Season Sport Fishing, One-Man Charters, Black and Blue Sport Fishing for their confidence in Parker boats. Take it from me, if you are ready for a new Parker at a fair, upfront, and honest deal, you need to see Kevin Kelly at West Coast Marine, located at 1555 Newport Boulevard in Costa Mesa, or check out their inventory and information at westcoastmarine.com.
Great boats, free parking, and a fully stocked tackle shop. Just a few of the reasons Seaforth Sport Fishing is a favorite among anglers. Come aboard top charter boats like the Aztec, Cortez, Endeavor, Eclipse, Apollo, Outer Limits, Pacific Star, El Gato Dos, Alexis, Pride, Privateer, Tribute, Pacific Voyager, and the Voyager. Plus, the new Seaforth Sea Watch in San Diego offer the finest half, 3/4, and full-day trips available. Check out the full-service tackle store at Seaforth Sport Fishing. And it's all run by fishermen for fishermen. 1717 Quivira Road, just off Mission Bay Drive in Mission Bay. Book online at seaforthlanding.com.
I got a garage full of fishing tackle, and every time I get out on the water, I realize I forgot something important. But I never forget my life jacket. I make sure my buddies wear theirs, too. Save the ones you love. A message from California State Parks Division of Boating and Waterways.
This is Pete Gray to tell you about one of my favorite places to fish in the world. It's Whalers Cove Lodge in Angoon, Alaska. For several years now, we've been hosting groups at Whalers Cove, and this is certainly one trip I do not miss. Each year, the Powers family makes great improvements to the lodge that make this great lodge even better. New rooms, new boats, new fish processing processing facilities, new outdoor kitchen. The list goes on and on. As for fishing, the calm waters around Whalers Cove are 100 miles from any large town, so you will enjoy wilderness adventure without the crowds. Whalers Cove Lodge has some of the best salt and freshwater fishing in Alaska, and there's no need for a bumpy boat ride for hours. You can find productive fishing for salmon, halibut, and rockfish just 10 minutes from the lodge. Here's the deal. The word is out on Whalers Cove, so you want to go? Book soon. WhalersCoveLodge.com or call 800-423-3123. WhalersCoveLodge.com for the Alaska fishing experience of a lifetime.
Fifth Avenue Insurance has a new name. It's Snap Insurance, still providing anglers and boaters with the best in boat insurance and the lowest rates. The experts at Snap Insurance will make sure your boat and property are covered right. Traveling to Mexico? Snap has you covered. You can even work with your agent to wrap your home and auto with your boat policy to save even more. Call them for advice on your current boat policy or any of your insurance needs. Snap Insurance, 800-527-6617 or snapins.com. That's SNAPPINS.com.
Welcome back to Let's Talk Hookup on the Mighty 1090. Been a busy morning already. If you want to get your chance to talk to Captain Mike Pritchard of the Tribute, 858-457-1090 or 877-792-1090. Phones are packed. We're going to jump right back into the calls. This time we're going to talk to Mike. He's calling us from Torrance this morning. Good morning, Mike. Welcome to Let's Talk Hookup.
Good morning, Ricky. Good morning, Mike. How you guys doing today?
Hey, good morning.
Great, buddy. Good morning.
Hey, I just wanted to talk about a trip I took on Tribute September 2015. That was a great trip. I left L.A. and drove down to San Diego and jumped on the Tribute. And then they drove back to L.A. and we fished behind Catalina, between Catalina and Clemente, and the whole fleet was out there. There were easily 100 sporties out there. And I was fishing next to Mike, and he was, I'd like to say he was drop shotting with a bluefin at about 100 feet, 150 feet. And he was using a balloon rig to tie off. So if you could talk about that a little bit in a minute. But I was fortunate to catch a 33-pound albacore along with a couple of 45-pound bluefin that day. And I just had a great trip on the Tribute, and I could recommend it to anybody.
I know exactly who you are because I think we only caught one albacore that year.
Hey, you caught the one. You caught all of them.
You know what? I remember the trip, and actually the rig. It was I was rubber banding a sinker on. I think it was like 60-pound, fishing a small 2-speed Akuma. But a lot of that bluefin fishing, and you know what? It still happens. I mean, the flat fall is a great setup, a great way to catch one of those big ones. But man, sometimes the sinker rig and sardine is. It can't be passed up, and that's exactly what we were doing that day, and it was dropping down about 150, 180 feet with I think a 4 or 6 ounce torpedo weight rubber banded onto some heavier gear and a circle hook, and it was almost like fishing. And this has happened a lot in the last few years. It's almost like fishing rockfish or sea bass or something. You drop it down and you wait for your bite, and you can fish in gear.
That's crazy. And even the bite on that, you know, obviously once everything gets going and you hook your fish, but you know, you'd think of a tuna eating is going to be some freight train, jerk the rod out of your hands, and it really was like fishing sea bass. I mean, you drop your sinker down and one climbs on. It was just, okay, your tip starts rattling and away you go.
Yeah, that's pretty. It's like a perch bite. I mean,
it's wild.
It really is. And there's been some instances over the last couple of years where we're fishing the Cortez or the Tanner Bank, and you're actually dropping to the bottom for bluefin, just like you're fishing for rockfish. You got your sinker, you got your sardine, you drop down, you hit the bottom, you put it in gear, and you wait, and the chance of catching a Boccaccio or a bluefin are real.
Are equal. That's wild. Mike, sounds like it was a fun trip and pretty cool catching that bonus albacore.
I sure appreciate it. One other thing that he taught me on that one was he kept feeling bites, and then he'd reel up about 3 feet, and then that's when they pick it up. So I watched the captain, I watched what was going on, and I was able to pull up my limit and had a successful trip. So thanks a lot, Mike. That was a good one out there.
Hey, no problem. No, and hopefully there's more of those longfin things swimming this way, because when you say I caught an albacore and a couple bluefin, and I remember it from 2 years ago, we need more of them.
Mike, appreciate the phone call, buddy. Thanks very much for that. Hey, let's talk to Tommy P. He had a very successful trip going fishing aboard the Searcher. Good morning, Tommy.
Hey, good morning, guys. How we doing in there?
Good morning. Fantastic. What's going on?
Hey, well, first off, we just got back from that day and a half on the searcher, Ricky, and I want to thank you and Pete for all the prizes that you guys gave out to all the anglers. But just like you were talking about earlier, the boat limited out on yellowtail. We even had a marlin come up and strike at one of the sardines, which was cool. We had 8 to 10 Dorados. Later on in the day, we got into a huge school of dolphin, and swimming with the dolphin were 4 nice little yellowfin. So it was a fantastic trip. Can't thank Art enough and his crew there. All of his guys, Charlie, Dan, and the galley, Ryan, all the guys, Kenny and Aaron.
That's cool.
That is just such a fun trip. If you only have 2 days or whatever to get out in the water, Ricky, that is it. Like I said, it's just tons of fun.
Regulation,
great trip, fabulous weather.
Regulation, middle of July, summertime fishing. Limits of yellowtail, Dorados, yellowfin tuna, kelp patty fishing, lots of action. Sounds like fun times, Tommy.
Right there. Thank you again. And, I think there's Ricky on the 28th of August. I believe they have another Let's Talk Hookup trip. I think there's still some slots left, but it's fun. Captain Art and Celia have a great show there.
That's it. I couldn't agree more. You can book them online. You go to our website, letstalkhookup.com. Check out the trip section. You can find a way right there. I know you can book right on the Searcher Sport Fishing website as well. Tommy, great job. Glad you guys had such a good trip. Sounds like it was a lot of fun and some steady action, which is what summertime's all about.
All right, guys. Talk to you later.
Thanks, Tommy. Appreciate that. Great report. We'll look forward to talking to you real soon. Let's jump back into the phones again. If you want to get through, the only line open right now is our toll-free number. That's 877-792-1090. Let's talk to Mark, who's calling us from Lakeside this morning. Good morning, Mark. Welcome to Let's Talk Hookup.
Hold on, Dave.
What's up, Mark?
Hey, good morning, guys. How's it going?
Doing great. Morning.
Hey, I just wanted to pile on with that other guy. We did a trip on the Tribute last year, and we were up off of Clemente, anchored up and fishing the current, kind of like fishing for whitefish but using live squid. And 4 of us went out, and one of our guys had the hot stick and ended up getting to about 80 pounds, and he was nice enough to split them up between us. So,
Very nice.
And your crew is awesome, and we really had a good trip on that day, and you guys do an awesome job.
No, thank you very much. Yeah, it's funny. Same kind of deal with this with this big bluefin, the kite fishing and everything else. I anchored up at the south end of San Clemente Island, fishing for bluefin. It's same kind of deal. I mean, it's something a lot of us had never done. You hear about guys years ago fishing bluefin at Guadalupe Island, big bluefin back then, but it's not really something a whole lot of people have seen here in the last 20 years, or last ever. Being able to go out, set up on the anchor, and sit there and pick away at bluefin and yellowfin, it's long-range fishing locally.
And again, total trophy class size of fish, too. I mean, the average fish when you're anchored up on the reef was a 60 to 80 pounder, and a 100 pounder extremely common. It's just Pete Grossbeck said a while ago, and it's something that always resonates about, the rule book, and, this is what you do, this is what you do. The rule book got thrown away about 2 years ago because none of it is right. I mean, the last several years have all been unprecedented. You said it at the beginning of the show. Crazy wahoo fishing that we had from the start, the size of the bluefin, where the bluefin is at, the ways that we're catching it, all of these things have been so unique. Not to say that this hasn't happened in some form or another somewhere, but to see it all come together the way it is at home and the opportunities we have right now, it's definitely something special.
It is. You know what? I just fishing as a kid, you hear about stories about the El Niños, about albacore, all that stuff. We're living it.
Yeah, that's for sure. Well, Mark brought up a good point about, and Mark, appreciate the phone call very much. Glad you had such a great trip. And, he was talking about how much he likes fishing on the boat. It's something we often do at the beginning of the show and kind of just ran through things. But tell us a little bit about the Tribute. I mean, obviously you were talking about one-day fishing earlier, and Mark was talking about doing a 2-day trip. What are the types of trips? And tell us a little bit about the boat that you run on the Tribute, Mike.
Well, the boat was built 50 years ago, originally as the Polaris 3. Bill Poole's really his first long-range boat. A guy called in earlier talking about the Searcher. That was Bill Poole's second. After building the Polaris 3, he built the Searcher. which was the Cape Polaris. It's an 80-foot Ditmar Donaldson, a great fishing platform, 80 feet by 24 feet, low to the water. It's a 2-inch mahogany planks. It's kind of a heavy boat, but it rides extremely well.
So
Fish is great. Gets bit really, really well. We sleep, well, the boat was originally built to sleep like 56 people. Obviously, we don't take that much anymore. Most of our trips, we do limited load trips to 32 or standard open party trips to 36. There is 2 staterooms on the boat, deck level. We usually reserve the staterooms for families, maybe somebody that has bad knees, has problems getting up and down the stairs. Great way to, out on our Wicked Tuna trip a couple weeks ago. We had a gentleman in a wheelchair that had no problem getting in and out of the staterooms. It worked out really, really well for him. Great big galley on it. The galley seats about 22 comfortably. Repowered last year, brand new engines, brand new generator, brand new bait tank, brand new fuel tanks, brand new water tanks. Hang on, it's kind of making me sick.
Yeah, you're doing it right.
The boat has been flawless here. Mechanically, everything's ran great. It's kind of gnarly to put that much work into a boat, but it's part of it. And took a really great fishing platform. Most people would know the boat as the Holiday. It was the Holiday for I think somewhere around 39 years. Used to have a giant mast on it, a big tower that had been removed before I bought the boat. But it's a long-range boat. It's just
exactly. It was purpose-built for that reason.
Exactly. That was, I think, one of the first boats Bill Poole ever fished the Laos Rocks on. Did a lot of 5 to 7 day trips. Now we do primarily day and day-and-a-half trips. We do trips up to 5 days. We have some 3.5 day trips in our schedule. A 4-day trip in December, actually a Dock Ski sponsored trip, but that thing's already sold out. So we do still do longer trips, but primarily it's a day to 2.5 day, really based on the fishing. And the way fishing's been for the last several years, you don't have to do a 5 day for the majority of our stuff. So
that's what I've loved about the schedule that you guys run is you most commonly see it doing 1 day and day-and-a-half day trips, but you're not set in stone. Like you run that boat the way the best opportunity is for the fisherman. Whether that's financially better for you or not, it doesn't seem to be the difference. Whatever the best opportunity is to go catch fish, that's what you guys do. And when they're close, you do a 1 day trip, and you were doing that all year last year, essentially offering darn near the same length of time because you were so close. You're fishing until dark at a more affordable price for the angler. And if the fish are farther away, then you do day and a half, and you guys do whatever it takes to make the fish. And I think it's really cool. Even if it's financially not the best for you, that's what you guys always seem to do.
Usually, it's you'll see our trips. I try to put them up about a month in advance, and that's exactly it. If the fish are 18 miles from home, we're not going to do 2 day trips or day-and-a-half trips. We're going to try. You're trying to predict the fishing, which is next to impossible. But same kind of deal, if the fish are at 130 miles, you don't want to be stuck on a 1 day trip. So a lot of people ask, well, what are you doing in September? Well, I'll tell you in August, because that's the best way for, at least in my opinion, the best way for us to put our schedule up. That way we're fishing where the fish are instead of, sitting in front of San Diego on a multi-day trip looking at the lights in Point Loma, which has been really common over the last few years. And it's funny because you get people that complain about it, say, well, I didn't come out on an overnight trip to fish at 18 or 30 miles. Well, that's where the fish are.
Yeah.
The bonus of being on an overnight boat and having the fish close like that is a lot of times we get 3 or 4 hours of fishing before you see the first local boats or anything like that. And a lot of times that gray bite is extremely important.
Especially with the flatfall and these big fish right now.
Oh,
right?
man. Why? There's been several days this year where we get our people up and we're fishing at 2:30 or 3 o'clock in the morning. It makes for a freaking long day, but the chance of catching one of those big fish in the dark is real. And we leave the harbor. We're usually all baited up before we ever put our passengers on the boat. We leave at 10 o'clock at night. We run out and we start fishing at 2:30 or 3 o'clock in the morning. It's really hard on the crew, but there's been a lot of big fish caught this year like that.
That's cool. That's very cool. Hey, again, Mark, appreciate the phone call very much. Hey, when we come back, we got another full hour of Let's Talk Hookup coming your way. We're going to check in with the catch report, find out what's biting up and down the beach, plus a lot more of your phone calls. You stay tuned. You're listening to Let's Talk Hookup with Captain Mike Pritchard of the Tribute on the Mighty 1090.
In the water, like all of the rest.
This is Chelsea from Dana Landing in Mission Bay. We are truly the one-stop shop for a great day on the water. Looking for a fishing charter? Dana Landing has you covered with the Blackjack. Perfect up to 4 anglers, or the Impulse up to 6 anglers in comfort and style. Dana Landing has a huge tackle shop with everything you need to go fish bay bass, tuna, or marlin, and our staff will dial you in. We even have Mexican and California fishing licenses and reel repair. Our deli at Dana Landing is a local's favorite with all the food, ice, and beverages you need. Hey, need freshwater tackle? Head to East County Bait and Tackle, the ultimate in rods and reels, the latest freshwater lures and live bait. ECBT has a staff second to none when it comes to sharing their passion for fishing. ECBT is at the end of the 67 freeway on Mapleview and Lakeside, and Dana Landing is next to the Dana Launch Ramp in Mission Bay. Check out danalanding.com for more details.
It's Yamaha's Power the Summer sales event. For a limited time, eligible new 90 to 300 horsepower 4-strokes include 2 free years of Yamaha extended service. And eligible new 2.5 to 75 horsepower 4-strokes include up to $500 in dealer credit. Reliability starts here. Yamaha. Offer ends August 31st, 2017. Subject to change at any time. Other restrictions and conditions apply. Select models excluded. See authorized participating Yamaha outboard dealers for details. This promotion cannot be used with any other Yamaha offer.
You've heard all about it. You know the anglers catching fish have it, so what's holding you back? It's a fact. FishDope.com really does help you catch more fish and burn less fuel. FishDope.com is the only fish finding service with a spotter plane along with a crew of top anglers on the water almost every day that report actual locations and catches. You can get daily catch reports from Point Conception to San Martin Island, 365 days a year. FishDope.com is for everyone, whether you have your own boat, fish on your friend's boat, or a sport boat. FishDope.com has online planning tools, moon phase, tides, hot bite icons, and more. So bottom line is, if you don't have FishDope.com, well, you're probably missing a lot of bites. Membership costs less than $50 of gas, and that's for the entire year. That's right, 1 year. What a bargain. Plus, use the special code to save $20 on a new FishDope.com membership. Check it out today. FishDope.com. Catch more fish, burn less fuel.
XEPRS 1090 AM, Rosarito, Baja California.
San Diego's sports leader.
The home of ESPN Radio.
The mighty 1090.
Sport fishing, not just for dad anymore. At Dana Wharf Sport Fishing, kids fish free every Sunday. Free half-day fishing trip and clinic free for Kids 12 Wharf Kids Club, and get over $100 of really cool stuff like 2 free fishing trips, a free whale watch trip, and more. Dana Wharf, everyone's favorite since 1971. Click DanaWharf.com or visit them in the Dana Point Harbor, the bass capital of the West, and only minutes from the 5 freeway in Orange County. DanaWharf.com, where kids fish free.
Everyone likes special treatment, kind of feel like a VIP. Well, that's how our listeners are treated at Poway Valley Collision. I have personally heard of several stories of how well our friends Jim and Mary take care of their customers that we sent them. Poway Valley Collision is worth the drive from anywhere in the Southland. We know you may not need them today, but when accidents happen, it pays to go to Poway Valley Collision. And listen to this. Our listeners get a special discount that can save you hundreds of dollars on your car or truck repair. Just tell them you listen to the show and you get the deal. They work with most insurance companies, including Auto Club, MetLife, Wawanesa, and more. Just bring your car or truck to them and let Poway Valley Collision do the rest. I have had my truck repaired at Poway Valley Collision, and the job was perfect. So get your vehicle fixed right at Poway Valley Collision. Tell them you listen to Let's Talk Hookup, and they'll save you money on your repair. Poway Valley Collision, 14211 Garden Road in Poway. Check PowayValleyCollision.com.
The bluefin are abundant this year, but getting them to bite is another story. But if you're willing to chase them, there's an opportunity to land the catch of a lifetime. Now, getting the deal of a lifetime on a new Ford is much less effort, because the gigantic summer sales event is going on now at your San Diego County Ford dealer. Choose from a great selection of cars, trucks, and SUVs, and save big on interest charges with 0 APR long-term financing. On top of that, your Ford dealer will give you an additional bonus for your qualified trade. This special offer is available to anyone who gets approved through Ford Motor Credit. You'll also find great deals on new Ford Super Duty, Motor Trend Magazine's 2017 Truck of the Year. So why chase deals all over town when you can land the deal of a lifetime on the new Ford, car, truck, or SUV you've always wanted during the Ford Summer Sales Event? Stop by any San Diego County Ford dealer today. They'll be glad to hook you up. Learn more at buyfordnow.com.